A lot of times people have what they think is bad things happen to them. And they get into victim mode and they feel really bad and sorry for themselves. And they say, oh, poor me, this bad thing just happened. Well, a lot of people find out in retrospect that what they thought was a bad thing is actually a good thing, that if that didn't happen, something else even worse would have happened.
A blessing in disguise.
Exactly.
Hello.
Hi. This is who are you?
I'm Kara. I like these talks.
Every now and then she pops in, and she's still here. I hope she always will be here.
Sweet. Kind of like, you spilled your coffee on the way to work and you're all upset, when in reality you just could have avoided a car accident.
Right.
We all hear about those. Well, we had something like that happen to us. We'd like to share it.
We'll give you a couple examples here of just from us. This kind of things happen all the time. I just want you to start looking at life differently. Stop judging, stop assuming, stop being in victim mode and saying, oh, this is a bad thing. It just happened. Oh, poor me. So, you went up on the roof to take.
I was up on the roof. Oh God, the cloud formation was just so gorgeous. So
The sunset.
it was cloud formation. So I go in the backyard. I was going to do a 360. Then I said, I'm going to go on the balcony. Go up on the balcony. I said, you know what? I should go up on the roof. So I went on the roof. And there was a bee buzzing around. Bees never scare me. They don't bother me. But, we just found that beehive a few months ago up in the roof, and I wasn't paying attention, and I didn't realize that those are hostile bees. I'm getting a little too close to the queen in their hive, and I got stung so bad. I was feeling it, and it's as if the bee he was buzzing around me, and then it was as if he went kind of like a slingshot, boom, right in my neck. Oh my God, I've never been stung so bad before. And it was just really powerful. And he continued, and Marcus, you're so sweet. I came down and told Marcus what was happening.
Why was I sweet?
Oh, because every time I hurt myself in the house, you changed it. I had our back tiles in the backyard is so slippery when wet. And a few years ago, I slipped and fell and landed on my head so bad. I cannot believe I don't have brain damage. I don't believe I didn't crack my head open, but I had vertigo. It was pretty severe.
The previous owner had tiled the entire backyard with ceramic tile, which is super slippery, especially when it's wet. It was like, I don't know why, anyway, so.
Yeah, I cannot believe I didn't split my head open. I hit the concrete so hard on my head. I had vertigo for about a month. Everything would be dizzy. It was bad. But when I told you changed all the tile in the backyard.
I immediately got a concrete company to come out with jackhammers, break up the tiles, pour pool decking, which is kind of like a rubberized, you can't slip on it.
Right.
And so I had all new stuff put in so this doesn't happen again.
Right. You asked why you were so sweet, and then I was walking, and the stair where it meets right here, it didn't have any covering on it. And I cut my foot open on the top of it, and I had to get stitches. He tells me I need a rubber ball to live in. Anyways, and he got carpet and changed that. That's why what a good guy.
We have marble steps here. They're really sharp corners. She slipped and fell, hit herself on it, cut her foot open. So I coated it all in carpeting. All the corners are carpeted now with extra foam underneath the carpeting. It's like you're baby-proofing the house with her around.
So I get stung by the bee, and when we found out, I draw your attention to it that we had a beehive, and I turned to him and I'm like we're really going to do anything about it.
They were going in and out of a light socket up there. We didn't know how big the hive was or anything. We just see all these bees going in and out. They're minding their business. We like bees. We said, we'll just leave them alone. We'll coexist.
Until I got stung. Now he's like, okay, the beehive's got to
go. We have a guy here. He does natural pest control. No, don't get me wrong. I don't want to kill the bees, but he he sprays with was it rosemary oil? I did a video on this guy. It's all natural. It's essential oils. It kills the roaches and little things like that, but doesn't hurt small animals or lizards. He told me there's company out here that actually takes the bees and makes them go from this nest down to another to a box that is their new nest, and then they take that away and the bees all move and they don't get hurt and they live somewhere else.
It's common to move the hive.
Yeah, so this is actually a common thing. I didn't know this, but and I'm going to make a whole video about this. I'm going to interview the guy who is fascinating of how they can take an entire bee's nest and and move it with the queen and everything is fine, no problem. So they had to get it was a big deal. They had to get a 60-foot crane to go up there, and they had to take the roof apart, all the tiles, all the plywood, and they found underneath that roof a 7-foot hive, 7 feet long. I mean,
100,000 bees were up there.
Well over 100,000 bees.
I don't know how many months it's been going up there.
The worst thing you can do, this is what a lot of people do right away, kill the bees, right? Yes. Get an exterminator and kill them. That's the first thing people think about. It's like, you don't understand. I'm going to make in my other bee video how important bees are to everything, and that you should never kill bees.
And those same people are expecting, to eat produce and bananas and, tomatoes. Yeah. Not realizing that those bees are here to help us.
Right. We wouldn't, life on Earth wouldn't exist without them. Anyway, so what some people do when they spray for a hive to kill them, they don't understand that there is gallons and gallons of honey up there in the hive. And the bees, by all their fanning with the wings and everything, they keep everything kind of cool. So what happens is if you kill the bees, the honey starts to melt and the hive starts to rot. And
it attracts rodents
like rats in your walls and cockroaches and God knows what. I mean, all this stuff. And it starts running down the walls inside your house and
staining everything it touches.
But that's not even why we're doing this video. That's the next video. The point is, when they took that roof apart, the bee guy had to get the roofer who had the 60-foot crane. They kind of work together as they help each other, because the roofer takes the roof apart while the bee guy handles the bees, and they both wear these suits. And the roofer went up there and he's looking at my roof, and he talks to me later and he goes, your roof is pretty messed up. You have 50 different things I can find right now where if it rains, it gets down underneath the tiles, and he showed me, and he
wasn't just saying it, he actually showed you.
Right. I mean, there were so many things. The drains were clogged, the tiles were cracked, things were missing, water was pooling up in some areas and getting underneath.
Well, little did we know that roofs are like a constant maintenance.
Even the tile roofs, people think those things last forever. You got to maintain them like yearly. Anyway, so if he didn't tell me this, we would have had major water damage in this irreplaceable place that we're in. This is like a museum. This should be like a landmark, this place. It has so much custom work. They would have to tear out custom woodwork, glass stained windows, marble and granite tiles. It would have been a disaster. So if that one little bee didn't sting her, we could have lost this house. This house could have, the bees were actually...
It seems like it was critical that bee stung me in order to save the house.
Right, exactly. That saved us. And there's bee sting therapy, which is actually really good for people with lupus and things like that. So I know the bee might have lost its life stinging her, but in so doing, it's saved us hundreds of thousands of dollars in the house and everything. And then we have another example here of another thing that happened that if it didn't happen, a whole chain reaction of other things would have happened. We were driving down the freeway one day, just minding our business, no big deal, and a cop pulls us over. And I'm like, what? I wasn't even speeding. What's the big deal? He comes over with this little gadget and he says, roll down your window. And he puts this gadget that scans the window. He says, your window tinting's too dark. And I'm looking around, I'm going, everybody in this town, this is Las Vegas, it's 120 degrees, everybody has black window tinting. Nobody has bare windows. I know you're not supposed to have seriously black windows up front, but everybody does it because it's just so damn hot here. But he picks us out of all the cars on the freeway. And it's not even a fancy car. We were just driving a normal, boring car, and he just picks us out. Like, why us? Why did he pick us? And he puts this device that measures how opaque your windows are, and he writes us a ticket. And I'm like, I could have gone like typical person. Oh, poor me. Why? And I was going, why?
Victim mode.
Well, I was just scratching my head, like, why did he pick us out? Like, what's, of all the people, he could have picked 100,000 people on the road that all have black windows, but why us? So anyway, so she says, I'll take care of it. I'll go find a window tinner and have it switched out.
So I looked around and I found a spot about a couple miles away from the house. And while they were tinting the car, I was walking around the strip mall that the place was in, and I'm looking at the costumes, and I look at this. Then I see this gym, and it was locked and tinted windows. It was so mysterious. So I go like this, I look into it, and one of the guys comes, he opens the door, and I go, oh, I was just wondering about this gym. And he goes, yeah, come on in. And I walked in, and there was a lot of women in this gym, and they're lifting heavy, and they look feminine. Very feminine looking young women, and they're lifting these heavy weights that you see guys lifting. And there's so many women, and there's guys too. And I just expect, a gym like that, it's like a powerlifting gym. You'd expect all men, but it's amazing how many women are into this. And I ended up, joined, and that was like 4 years ago.
And you liked it so much, you said, Marcus, you got to go. You got to go.
I loved it so much. These trainers are not just trainers in a typical gym. They're so scientific. They're just so educated in their craft.
So after bugging me for half a year.
So long, I'm like, Marcus, you got to join. It's amazing. So finally
I did, and I'm glad I did. And
because everybody needs to be working out on a regular basis.
So if we didn't get the cop pulling us over, we would not have found this amazing gym, because I was so frustrated. I was...
Yeah.
When we moved to this house, there's nothing around there other than LVAC, which I don't want to go to. That's just a meat market of people who are
they're not there for the right reason.
Yeah, I don't want to even be in this place where there's 100,000 people crammed in there. The thing I like about this gym, and there's maybe like 4 people in there total.
When I'm there in the morning. There's like 15. But
okay,
what I love about this gym is it's so cool. The guys, they don't hit on the girls. They leave the girls alone unless they're friends with us. Unlike LVAC, it's a meat market.
Or 24-hour fitness or all that.
I don't know if I told you the other day, I left my purse at the back. I just throw it at the back tables. And I always leave it unzipped, and my wallet and phone are there. And I went to go get my purse the other day, and somebody zipped it closed. They don't steal it; they zip it closed for protection.
Everybody watches out.
It's such a great. To find that gym. It's been 4 years and we're still going on about the gym.
That was a big thing, because gym is really important to us, and we don't just want to go anywhere. And we were kind of frustrated because we didn't know what was around here. And this is really hidden away. It's in this little strip mall. As you can't just walk in and use it. You have to be, you have to
be in the net.
Yeah. So, and don't ask us, please, what it is, because we don't want any people who know us to be there. We're very private. We're very we don't want to be.
Well, when we're at the gym, we're there to work out. I never chat.
There was one person or 2 people there that know us, and they keep wanting to say hi and ask me questions about health and stuff. If I know somebody knows me, I don't want to be there. I want to be left alone and focus on what I'm doing. I'm like that at restaurants. I'm like that at the gym. I just want to be left alone and know that nobody cares who I am or knows who I am. The point is that things happen that lead to other things that end up being something that you needed in life, that you were asking for without even knowing it. There's this chain reaction that happens. So when something bad happens to you, or you think it's a bad thing, don't think it's a bad thing.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys have a lot of things that you thought were, it was just a blessing in disguise. I've had a few of those too.
You hear people saying, this is kind of an extreme example, but you hear people saying cancer was the best thing that ever happened to them, because if that didn't happen, it was a warning, wake-up call, about as extreme as you can get. Some people don't change, but some people say, oh, I need to change everything. I need to change my diet, my health, my lifestyle, my stress levels. And they say they became a better person, healthier. They would never have ended up as the person they were if they didn't have this big scare in their life.
Another one, losing their job when it turns out to be the best thing that happens because you could have find a better one.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you break up in a relationship. You think it's the worst thing in the world. You want to kill yourself because that person was your life. But you didn't realize how codependent you guys were and how there was a lot of stress and manipulation and underlying weirdness. And you don't realize how much better your life could be until it was ripped out of your life, and now you met somebody better, and your life has just improved so much more. And you wouldn't have met this new person if the old one wasn't ripped away from you. So there's so many things in life that everybody thinks is the worst thing that ever happened.
I'm sure there's a lot of those. It's so interesting.
Sometimes what's the most valuable to you gets taken away from you. If that didn't happen, you wouldn't be forced to look somewhere else and do something new. Life is all about movement and transition and flow and
letting go,
going with the flow, letting go, adapting. That's success. That's how you find success in life. You got to adapt. You got to flow and stop judging and stop assuming and being in victim mode and say, oh, poor me.
So what do we do? Something, a catastrophe happens, like, the beehive.
The first thing is to not see it as good or bad. You just react. No emotion. There's actually a story.
Interesting.
There's actually a story. I don't remember. It's like a farmer with his donkey, and something happens to the donkey, and the farmer says, this is the worst thing that could ever happen. And then a wise man standing at the side of the road goes, oh, really? And then, and it was this long thing, this whole chain of reaction. And every time that happened, the person or the said, this is the worst thing that could happen. What a bad thing. And then the wise man says, oh, really? And then but every time something better happened. Yeah, I'm sure you've all heard this story. I should have dug that out before I made this video.
Aww.
I'm sure you guys have heard of it. If somebody knows of this story, please post a link below. Anyway.
And maybe also, try and think, I don't know. We always get out of this situation before, so don't panic. I guess it's just being stoic.
Right, exactly. Stop getting caught up in emotion. Stop labeling something immediately as good or bad. Even things that you think are good, they might not be that good. Some people think, they finally get what they always wanted, and then they realize it's the worst thing ever. It's like what was that thing with the genie wishes you your wishes, but each wish you get what you want, and it turns out to be something that you shouldn't have had because something bad happens because of it.
Kind of like the lottery.
So there you go. I mean, that's don't get caught up in emotionally with things. Just ride the wave and enjoy the ride, and don't.
Yeah,
don't judge.
I am guilty. I do get emotional at times. Marcus, on the other hand, he actually practices what he preaches. My God. I mean, just to hear about your movie, when you made your movie, the stress you endured, and you were just fine.
She's reading this book here.
Amazing book, Breath. I highly recommend it. Teaches you how to breathe again. I've been put under pressure so many times in my life, and I started researching what can I do to chill out, to ease the pressure, to calm my nerves, to calm everything, just to calm my entire being. When you're stressed and pressured, everything is upheaved. And I read a lot of things, and the thing that stuck with me the most, that made the most sense, was a suggestion of breathing. Just breathe. And you know what? It's helped me every single time. It works. Breathing. Just breathe. When you're stressed, when you lose something, when a little catastrophe happens, you need to breathe so that you can get your mind working and you can think rationally.
So no matter what happens, stay calm.
Exactly.
Even if there's a war going on, if you can't think straight, you're going to screw up. and you might die.
My son told me something kind of important the other night. He had a dream that the world was coming to an end and a meteor was coming and the whole planet was going to explode. And he thought, in his dream, he thought, oh my God, I have to call my mom and tell her how much I love her. And then he said, there's no time to call my mom and tell her I love her. I'm going to be dead. And then he said, and then I realized she knows how much I love her. I'm just going to relax and die like this. You know, and it was a beautiful thing. Instead of your last moments, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I remember on the airplane, I'm like, ah! And Marcus goes, if we crash, I do not want our last moments to be stressed. We're going to be calm. But I get it now. I understand the importance. And I swear if the world was coming to an end, meteor was coming, I know I would just be so calm.
All right.
Breathe. So nice catching up with you guys. I love these double videos with Marcus. And let's go make some Bangkok Thai soup. That's the next video.
Oh yeah, we have a recipe video coming up. So, all right, we'll see you in the next video.
Nice seeing you guys.
Stay calm.